All right, let's check out the best machines from 3,000 to 6,000. There's so much to get into. So without further ado, let's check it out. So the next machine is by Rocket. Now Rocket are an interesting brand. They've been around quite a long time. They're not quite as long as some of the other Italian manufacturers, about 30 years or so, but they still have a really high reputation. However, oftentimes the biggest complaint I get and the biggest feedback I get is that they're too expensive. And whilst that might be the case for some of the lower end machines, like one of the new ones that they've just brought out for the Appartamento, the Cinquecento or the R58, which is the dual boiler by Rocket, actually sits pretty nicely in terms of its price point, at least in the US, when considering the other available options out there at the dual boiler range. So it's only about $3,200 and you get that full dual boiler range, which is pretty on par with all the other dual boilers out there. So this is one of those machines I feel like is actually priced pretty nicely. It comes packed with full features. Obviously you have the display panel on the side instead of built into the machine. And that's quite an interesting feature. I don't know whether people would find that annoying after a long time of having to not be able to put anything there, like your grinder can't sit close to your machine, or if you're steaming milk, that's really difficult. But I think the overall features, having it separate there, just allows them to put in a bigger display, which makes it a bit easier, and you can actually remove that and play around with it as well. So I don't know, it depends on if you own one. Let me know whether you find that feature useful or not useful, and whether you'd rather have it as an app or built into the machine. I'm not sure. But what I do like about it is it has a 7-day programmable feature. So let's say you get up really early for work Monday to Friday and you needed to come on 30 minutes before you get up. So you set it for 5 o'clock in the morning, get up at 5:30, make your coffee. And then on the weekends, you like to sleep in until 9:30, you can have it set up for that. But let's say on Saturdays, you take the kids to the soccer class, so you get up 7, so you can have it come on half an hour before that, and Sundays are different. So I really love that feature of being able to program it depending on what your weekly schedule is, as opposed to just having it come on at one day. Small feature, but a lot of people would find that beneficial. The pros for the machine is that it's packed with a lot of the features, like your PID, temperature stability. It has the display on the side. You can fully program it for 7 days, each day individually. So there's a lot of features there. The cons are that I think for the price point, a lot of the other machines offer the flow control kit, and this one doesn't. So this is, while it is a dual boiler, it doesn't have those extra little things that some of the other machines offer. And maybe that's why people don't really always love the Rocket, because they're similar price. They don't always have all the features in there. At the end of the day, the Rocket R58 is still a fantastic machine in a vacuum, and it's a fantastic espresso that you'll get from it. You won't ever be unhappy if you purchase this machine. However, if you're at the stage of considering it, you might look at a machine with a few more functions and features in it than the Rocket. If you're looking at durability and quality, the Rocket is perfect. However, some people might want a bit more bang for buck. For that reason, I'm only giving it a 7 out of 10. However, if I was just going on quality alone, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I think Rocket could probably get some feedback in introducing some more features and keeping the price point the same. Let's see if they listen to this video or not. We'll find out in the future. And the next one is something that looks so far removed from your traditional Italian espresso machines, built in America and backed by some brilliant minds, John Buckman and Scott Rao, who are some of the best brilliant engineers in the coffee world, have come together to put their brains together to make the decent espresso machine. And aside from the name, there's nothing decent about this. This is exceptional coffee. This is like the Tesla of espresso machines. It comes with a huge, and it's one of the only machines to have a built-in tablet, and well, you can upgrade it and put on a massive TV if you like, but it gives you the ability to measure and map every aspect of the coffee, whether you're looking at the weight, the flow, the pressure, water temperature, the pressure changes. You can do anything with this machine. It's one of the most brilliant machines that can mimic any other machine out there. Maybe not a lever machine, but pretty much every other machine out there. It can mimic it and map it. It gives you this graph readout, which lets you look at your shot in the history of your shot to see where it might have gone wrong, to compare it, how it tastes, to play around with different profiles where, unlike a lot of the other machines, can really only do a gradual increase and a gradual decline. This machine can go up, down, up, down, up, down, all over the place and give you just some exceptional shots. And not only that, but it looks gorgeous. Really small footprint for this type of machine. It is only a single boiler. Well, it actually doesn't even have a boiler. That's how brilliant this machine is. It just pulls up from the reservoir underneath enough water, cold and heaty at the same time, to precisely deliver the exact temperature that you want, whether you're going higher in temperature mid-shot or down, or going up and down again. Whatever you need, this is so precise. It delivers exactly what you want, and you can really push the boundaries of your espresso making. Only downside might be for those people who are wanting coffee like cappuccinos and lattes. You can only do one of these at a time. You can't make espresso and steam your milk simultaneously. You're going to have to choose. The reason behind it is they wanted you to focus on the espresso, looking at the graph, seeing what happens, and then focus on your milk. But the beautiful part about is that it actually maps the milk temperature as well. So if you wanted to have going from a hot to a slightly cooler, or even if you wanted it to be automated, you can hands-free steam your milk, 65 seconds, pop it in there, it'll get you to the perfect temperature and cut off exactly when you need it to be. I mean, this machine is so intelligent, I might actually let it run and look after my children. Now, the pros of this machine speak themselves. Like, it is packed full of features. There's nothing on this machine that you don't need. There's nothing on this machine that you will ever find is lacking. It's just filled with so much. It's continuously exploring. You can upgrade the user interface. You can change it. You can upload your profile. Let's say you're dialing in a particularly lovely Panama Geisha coffee, and you've got lovely sort of pour over pressure. You've got the pour over baskets with it, and you're making this gorgeous pour over coffee, and you've perfectly nailed the extraction. And someone on the other side of the world has the exact same coffee and a decent espresso machine. Well, you can upload it and they can download it and put it on their machine, and then pressing a button, they can just make the exact same profile that you had on the other side of the world, which is amazing. And there's a huge community that runs over Basecamp, where everyone is active on there, including John Buckman, is often in the chats, talking with people, telling about his new inventions, his latest accessories. So it's a really great culture. I love where this company is going. The name Decent doesn't do it service. It should be called Exceptional Coffee. But I am happy to say that the Decent espresso machine is my 10 out of 10. There's really nothing I can fault about it. If I was going to get really nitpicky, I would say that for some of you, it might be analysis paralysis. If you're new to coffee, I would probably stay away from this machine, because it's just so much information that you might feel overwhelmed. If you have someone in the household who knows a lot about coffee and can set it up for you, then they can just create a profile like I have for my wife, where you can just press a button and then it does everything for you. However, for newbies and people who are wanting to experiment, just be aware that this is going to soak up a good, I would say, 72 hours initially, just getting your head around all the different parameters. That's not really a con. That's like one of those cons that is actually a pro, but that is something to be considerate of. Another con I have found that occasionally the software is a little bit buggy, and when you lose software, you can use the last profile, so you can still manually press it to do the last profile. However, once you lose the ability, like let's say you forget to turn off the tablet and you turn off the machine, the tablet stays on and goes flat. When you load it up again, it's a bit of a problem, because you can only play with the last profile set. You have to wait until you charge up the batteries again on the tablet in order to be able to use it again. That's only one of the risks. I think with the mechanical machines, there's very little risk for it going downtime, but with this highly tech machine, there's going to be that risk of having some downtime. However, I think this machine is going to be continued to be finessed, and I think over time they'll have some backup safeguards that will allow that to always be up, and you will never have to worry about that. But there's so many unique pros for this machine. One, I already explained that it has a huge tablet display that you can also connect to a massive screen. You can have up multiple monitors. You can fully customize the look and feel of it. It looks beautiful and sleek. I think maybe the connection between the tablet and the machine is a little bit clunky, but I'm sure they're going to come out with models down the track where that hides that and it's still accessible. The other thing that I really love about this machine is that it comes in a suitcase, like an actual suitcase, packed everything in there with foam inserts. And that means that I can take this machine anywhere I want. If I'm traveling down the coast, down in state, or I want to take it camping and I know they've got electricity there, I can take this machine, pack it all up, take it with me and unpack it at site, and you get the benefits of having a home machine wherever you go. And I think that's a really big thing. For me especially, I don't like going anywhere without espresso. Anywhere that I have to be buying espresso is a sad day for me. So if I can take my machine with me, that's the perfect option. So that's a really big pro that no other machine I've seen out there does this. And in terms of that, there's not even any machines out there that have the displays. There's a couple that have the add-ons, and I know the ES1 by Seneso is bringing it out, but haven't seen it here in Australia yet. And even so, it's quite a small, restricted display, whereas this one really gives you the options to put in whatever size tablet you want. The machine can have it all. If you wanted a big 28-inch monitor for it, that you wanted to be able to map everything and graph it all, then that's available for you too. The other thing that Decent Espresso have done is created a whole range of colors. So they've got pinks, blues, yellows, black, white. Really interesting that they've gone down that range now to get everything custom matched to fit your kitchen. A lot of machine manufacturers are doing this now, and I think this is great because people do want to get something that's a little bit unique. If their friend has a white one, they want a pink one. So that's something that I really enjoy about Decent. It's ever evolving, and that's really testament to how hands-on John Buckman is still to this day. I think it's been about 7 years since that company has started up, and they really are focused on delivering the exceptional quality. Overall, this is 100%, hands down, my favorite machine in this range. Price point might be a bit of a con because it does range between $3,700 for the base model and right up to about $5,700 for the larger model, which is the DE1 XXL. The XXL really is for commercial users, but even then, it wouldn't be the machine that I would put in a commercial situation just because you can't do milk and coffee at the same time. But if you're having to pump out heaps of espressos, then this machine will be able to be plumbed right in and also allows you to just have a huge reservoir. But it's probably overkill. I think most of you would get away with just the XL or maybe even the DE1. There's really no downsides to those models, and I think overall this is a fantastic machine. Can't really go wrong. And lastly in this range, I would be not a very good coffee aficionado if I left this one out. It's called the La Marzocco Linea Micra. So a lot like the Linea Mini, which was its bigger sister, the Linea Micra is perfect for those people because it comes in under 6K. It's really compact. It's a nice little unit. You don't have all the features of the Linea Mini, but you get a lot of the same ones. And with the apps, they're often bringing out new ones. So you can do the pre-infusion via the app. You can adjust the temperature. You can change the actual time to go on and off. There's shot counters, there's shot timers in there, and they're bringing out features constantly. So I have no doubt in the future that the Linea Micra will have most of the features that all the other machines have on there, with the app being part of it. But in terms of just Linea Micra, it just is a gorgeous looking machine. Obviously, La Marzocco, world-renowned, one of the most beautiful coffee machine manufacturers in the world. I mean, these guys started the whole trend of doing super high-end machines. Before, people were just buying the cheapest machine that they could. La Marzocco went, no, we are only going to focus on the super high precision, high exceptional quality. And that's when the whole world went, oh, coffee can actually taste fantastic now, not just mediocre like it used to. So whilst they might have lost a little bit of the edge in terms of who sits at the very, very top end of the market, they certainly haven't sacrificed any quality. And now with the Micra, they've really focused on that home user who wants a high profile machine, but doesn't have the budget to go, 8, 10K. So you can watch the full video here where I interview the guys from La Marzocco on the Linea Micra, see everything in there. But this is a really fantastic machine because the pros that come with this machine, it's a dual boiler, it's got the PID control, it does have pre-infusion but through the app, and it has a lot of the features that other machines have. Got a super fast heat up time of about 5 to 7 minutes, which is fantastic if you just forgot to turn the machine on in the morning, come out and press it on, it's ready to go. One of the differences between this and a lot of the other machines is the portafilter itself, because a part of the portafilter is a naked portafilter and it has a polycarbonate insert that turns it into a spouted portafilter, and that doesn't take any time to heat up. Because it's plastic, you can remove that and then you're ready to go. You do have to wait for the sides to be heated up, but usually that'll only take about 5 to 10 minutes. So your machine will be ready to go in under 10 minutes most of the time, even if you forgot to turn it on earlier. Now, there's an argument there that people will say, well, you could just get a normal portafilter, or there's new portafilters out which have a really low amount of stainless steel in them, and that helps it speed up the heating time. However, these were the first guys to create that portafilter that could go from spouted to naked straight away, and I commend them on that. However, there's some other people that say that they don't like the plastic having effects, because obviously over time there might be some of the plastics that end up in your cup. From everything that I've read and know about it, this is not true. However, I'd love your opinion if you own this machine, or if you're an engineer or you understand this and you want to have an argument about it. Love to have it. Drop a comment in the section below and start a discussion on whether you think the plastics in the portafilter is a good or bad thing. So the pros of the machine are that it's a dual boiler, that has all the features, usually either through the app or through the machine itself. It has the convertible portafilter, so turning it into a naked and also a spouted, depending on if you want to split those shots or not. The other thing is it comes in a range of colors, and that's really great for a lot of people to have, to match their kitchen. So that's really handy. It comes in red, black, white, yellow, blue, I think some other colors. But they're really, really, really nice. And I think what they've done is really match it targeted to that individual who just wants to have one kitchen with all the aesthetic goods in it. The Linear Micra really fits that bill. Cons wise, there's not many. This is a great machine. I think price points fits perfectly. I think one of the cons that I hear, and I did notice as well, is that the drip tray is a bit high. So there's not a lot of headroom. It means that it is restricted to what sort of cups you fit underneath. You might have to go into shot glasses first and then transfer it into your cup. But that's something that to take into consideration. Really small con, might be a lot to build some of you. And the only other con is that some of the functions have to be on the app, and you can't just have them built into the machine itself. Now, I think having an app is great because you can do firmware updates and you can continue to add features that might not be available if you didn't have that app. But a lot of people prefer it native to the system, to the actual machine itself. So if you're one of those people, then that is something to consider as well. Overall, I give it a 9 out of 10. Can't go wrong. La Marzocco, you've done it again. I interrupt this program to announce that as I was putting this video together, La Marzocco have released a whole brand spanking new Linear Mini machine. And so I had to tell you about it. I had to add it into this because it fits perfectly within the budget range of 3 to 6K. And just in true La Marzocco fashion, it's all secret squirrel stuff, right up until the point of dropping it out. And this reminded me back a year ago when I was talking to La Marzocco and I was interviewing them and asking them about things coming out. They just dropped the Micra, and I really thought at the time, why did they drop the Micra? Because they've basically just killed off one of their other product lines, the Mini, because the Mini is big, expensive. Yes, it has a place in a commercial setting, but other than that, most people are going to go with the Micra because it's almost as powerful as the Mini, and it has way better functionality and way better features. Everything on it is much more improved. So why did they do that? Now it makes sense, because they were waiting secretly to drop a brand new Mini, which is almost a beefed up Micra now. It's pretty much the same machine. You can see that it has the new polymer version of the hybrid portafilter that's on the Micra. It has the app connectivity, which it already did. It has the pre-infusion blooming settings that you can adjust in the machine itself. It has a polymer steam tip as well, which is an upgrade. But if that doesn't float your boat and you're just a traditionalist, you can have the stainless steel one that also comes included in there. And I don't know, if you own this machine or you're going to buy this, what do you think of the polymer steam tip? It's apparently to make milk less sticky to it, so it's easier to clean, doesn't get gunked up inside. That's all good. It does look a little bit cheaper, and I think that's a lot of the problems that any of these products at this price point have, is that if you're going to put any components on it, don't skimp and do the cheap plastic. But they're saying this is a better, more robust polymer, and it's got better function. So I don't know. You let me know. Tell me if you think it's worth it or not. What else do they have? The only other real thing is that it's got an OPV accessibility on the top of the machine, which just makes it better to play around with your pressure. Other than that, it's really the same as the old Mini, just improved. And at $5,900 US, that's a pretty good price point for a lot of people. I think this is really going to sit in a lot of commercial settings, not really the home users, unless you just really want that bigger machine, the bigger footprint. The only design tweak that I can see aesthetically is on the side panel. Instead of it going straight across now, it looks like it angles down a little bit, just gives it a bit more of a modern look. But it's a very small aesthetic change. And other than that, it looks perfectly identical to the Mini. It does come in all the new colors as well that the Micra does come in. So they're really making this new line really fleshed out, and I would expect that they might bring in a few more models down the track as well. So yes, let me know your thoughts on the Mini. I haven't had a play on it. I haven't even really been able to get in touch with La Marzocco to even start understanding the machine more, but it definitely fits. I know La Marzocco's quality, so I'm happy to put them on this list. Let me know what your thoughts are, whether you're a Micra or a Mini. I'm not sure. I give it a 8 out of 10 until I really know more about it. Well, that's it for what coffee machine to buy, 3,000 to 6,000. If you feel I've missed your machine and you feel like there's a machine out there that should be on this list that I haven't included, please drop a comment in the section below. And of course, consider subscribing. If you like these videos, you want to see me waving about and knocking my cup off, then you can do that. Or maybe you just enjoy watching me talk about coffee machines, which I love doing. I love talking to you guys. I love giving you guys advice. I love you guys coaching me as much as I coach you. So thank you so much for enjoying this video. I'm Ride, your coffee coach. And as always, enjoy your brew. Oh, and I forgot. Did you guess which coffee machine was mine? Well, it is the Decent Espresso. And I think probably for those of you who've watched this channel for a while, you'd know that I have a soft spot for the Decent Espresso. I did purchase it a couple of years ago and I have never looked back. And for me, for everything that I do, for what I like to experience, for what I like to dive into coffee, continuously experimenting with different accessories and things like that, the Decent Espresso has been perfect for me. And I cannot recommend it highly enough. It's pretty obvious because I gave it a 10 out of 10, but there you go. That's the machine that I have. If you want, you can watch the full video here. After using it for 6 months, I did a review on it to see whether I really thought it was worthwhile. Turns out I really did. Thanks again for watching. Peace.